Hello, divine beings, peace, love, abundance, blessings. I am here with Niña Negra, who is also Black Santa Muerte, and this is a video on rituals and petitions to do with Niña Negra. So, when would you need to be working with Santísima Muerte, Black Santa Muerte? That is when you are in need of two things, one of two things: protection or reversals. Or let's actually add a third one: shadow work, releasing. So Black Santa Muerte is a very serious aspect, and it is probably the most serious aspects of all the Santa Muertes, because this very much deals with the underworld and strictly death, violence, opposition, hexing, curses, reversals, protection, also symbolic and energetic death and rebirth cycles. Black Santa Muerte had me get her a statue very recently because I was in need of a new shift in my life. So you can also have her when you feel like everything in your life is changing or shifting, when there are endings that are coming forward. And she basically reminds you, like, okay, when you think you're losing everything, whether that's you losing a job, losing a housing situation, losing friends, losing romance, it's usually when you are about to gain something new, but you're sacrificing a life. You're sacrificing sometimes what would be called a false life. So when something doesn't have a good foundation, there is always going to be that time of day where universe, spirit, the ancestors are like, okay, this isn't it for you. You're comfortable in this, but we're gonna have to make some abrupt changes. So if you're in a position like that, you might want to call upon Santa Muerte when you feel like you're going through some type of dark night of the soul, you're going through some type of loss, you feel like you need to do some healing, you got some anger, you got some deep frustrations like anger issues. You can also call upon Black Santa Muerte, and I want to talk about that first before I get into the more common aspects of working with Black Santa Muerte, because I feel like it doesn't get enough conversation. When I work with Black Santa Muerte, who was my first spirit guide ever, I was really needing to do shadow work. I was really like that devil card in tarot, but not the devil. I was one of the people tied up, yo. I had a lot of vices and I had a lot of reasons to be pissed. And I was, trauma bonding with my reality. And Santa Muerte came in and was like, all right, we got to shift some stuff. And anytime I feel like I'm about to go through major endings or I'm going through a cycle of death and rebirth, she always pulls up and she always shows up. All right? So Black Santa Muerte reminds you that you have the force, the power, the strength, and the will to go forward, as all the dark feminine goddesses do. And remember that Santa Muerte is also the Aztec goddess of the underworld, because yes, she is Aztec. So is La Virgen de Guadalupe, who I'll do some videos on soon, who is also named Tonatzin originally. But back to this video. Black Santa Muerte is also ultimate protection. I am talking about when people are doing spiritual F shit with you, all right? This means people who are hexing you, people who are cursing you, people who are also spiritually stalking you, because that unfortunately does exist when people are having an energetic trace on you, being nosy, being in your business. And it's unfortunate because I have seen this time and time again with clients. Black Santa Muerte showed up for a client who was getting spiritually stalked. And by spiritually stalked, I mean they know your information because you have gotten readings with them, or they just have a psychic pulse on you based on the type of closeness that they have with you, the type of relationship intimacy, whether it be platonic or romantic, that they have with you. Now they have a trail, now they have a trace, and now they can look at stuff for you. But Black Santa Muerte can come in if you petition her to create a barrier between you and that person. And I told this client, I was like, yo, when that heifer tries to see you, excuse my language, she is going to see Santa Muerte. And she's going to see Niña Negra straight up. Basically saying, you're trying to stare at him, you're trying to gaze at him because you're trying to see his next moves. Because that way you can do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. That ends today. See, Santa Muerte, just like all the dark goddesses out there, they don't got time to play. They don't like when your freedom is restricted, because you are here to live your true life. And that is why sometimes these dark deities are necessary, because unfortunately, there is harm in this world. There is malice in this world. As much as there is love, there are also people out here who want to cause great trouble, whether that be energetically in this world or spiritually and psychically in the ether. And Black Santa Muerte stops it all. All right. So if you got somebody who's spiritually stalking you, that's another way you call in Santa Muerte. Now, if you got somebody who is spiritually attacking you, then you gotta light a Santa Muerte black candle right then and there, or you could do a reversal if you feel called. Either way, Black Santa Muerte, she ends all that. She shuts that down. All right, she shuts down any spiritual battles and things of that sort. Again, the mother don't got time for it. And the mother is all these goddesses. They all got different faces. Santa Muerte, if we were looking at her in the divine feminine, is the crone state. She is beyond time and space, and she is the wisdom of life and death. So she doesn't really have time for her children to be going through F shit, and that's why she is so protective. That is why she can be, quote unquote, as some people might say, ruthless with her protection. It's because we have other things to do. We are here to live our divine life, and all of this spiritual warfare, all of this spiritual battle is a waste of time when we are looking at the grander scheme of what we are supposed to do in this life. All right. She is also good for calling back your power, because we all have had people try to bully us in this life, whether again it be energetically, mentally, physically, or spiritually. She'll make you find your path again. She'll make you find your power again. And she is very loving, but also stern with her wisdom, meaning that she just tells you how it is, but not in a place to school you, scold you, call you out, create some false authority, but from a place of like, I want you to live in your best self. I want you to live in your honest, truest, highest self. All right. And before I go further, I also want to remind y'all something. Yes, Santa Muerte is an Aztec goddess. Yes, Mexico venerates her very largely. And that could, quote unquote, at least in this realm, in this timeline, in this lifetime, that could be her origin. However, Santa Muerte works with many different kinds of people. I have seen her work with Colombians. I have seen her work with my dear white folks. I have seen her work with a lot of different types of people, all right? It don't matter who you are, so long as your intention is to be ethical and genuine, that's what's up, all right? That's what's up. Just be ethical, just be genuine, have a good time with her, give her offerings, pay respect. Don't try to, put your own twist on working with her. Just be genuine, be real and straightforward. Like, you gotta remember something, these guides, they're willing to work with people. It's not as exclusive as you might think it is. It's just about, are you energetically ready to have a mature relationship with these guides? Because these guides are protectors, but they're also teachers. And you're here to learn. It's not like, oh, Santa Muerte is going to save my day and that's it. Nah. We got some things to do, baby. We got some elevation to do. And sometimes that could manifest as shadow work, which is why I mentioned that first. All right. Santa Muerte can also help. Black Santa Muerte can also help with grave danger. So whether that be somebody going through domestic violence, somebody having somebody volatile or violent in their area, Santa Muerte can provide physical protection. Now there's other stuff I want to say, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. But if you have any issues with legality, you go with green Santa Muerte, but if you can't, black Santa Muerte works well too. And for some reason, somebody here might have the question of health. You can work with white Santa Muerte for that. You can also work with the blue Santa Muerte for that. And I have videos on working with the black, white, and red Santa Muertes. I'll do more coming up. But she is very versatile. And just because you might have the black Santa Muerte statue, but let's say you need something that's a different color of hers, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't just petition Niña Negra and have her other aspects do it. Meaning that, okay, I want abundance. And I feel called to ask Santa Muerte for her. I have a good relationship with her. I give her offerings. By the way, she's not super picky with offerings, y'all. She is just about what you're enjoying. I want to enjoy too. You like rum? Give her rum. You like wine? Give her wine. You like coffee? Give her coffee. You smoke weed? Give her some weed. You smoke cigars? Give her some cigars, all right? You like to eat pastries? Give her pastries. But going back to it, if you're petitioning Santa Muerte for abundance, there are multiple statues you can get for abundance with Santa Muerte. That can be gold. That can be the money statue, the one where it's a bunch of dollars on her as a cloak. That's fine if you don't have the statue. Of course, if you want to do more long-term work, totally get the statue as a reminder as well of the protection you have. But you can still use the Black Santa Muerte statue for those purposes if you do not have the time or the means to be able to do so otherwise. Like, all the statues have a purpose, and I feel like having a statue is a good investment on the path that you're ready to go with her. But if you just need one thing and you already work with Niña Negra, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to not break the rules, but to see beyond the rules and understand that if a spirit really connects with you, they will do what they can to support you and help you. All right? So I talked about how Black Santa Muerte helps you with shadow work. I'm also hearing protection. I forgot to mention that. But I talked about shadow work, spiritual protection, counter hexing, physical protection from violence. But for those of you who work in anything such as like let's say you're a cop, let's say you might be a sex worker, which I hold space for in this channel. We are sex positive. We are sex work positive up in this YouTube page. All right. You can call upon her for protection so that you're safe in your business, so that you're safe in your work. If you're watching this and you're in sex work, I would also recommend Pombagira and the demon Asmodeus and the demon Astaroth and Lucifer as well for any protection regarding sex work. But I can do a separate video on that if y'all want me to. Medusa as well, y'all. Like, a lot of these beings, y'all, don't care about what you do. And it's really unfortunate because, you know, spirituality is so free and open, but we still have Western religion put into how we connect to spirit, to source, to the ethers, which we're all portals for spirit. We're all portals for source. But as long as you're doing things with good intentions, including sex work, if it's consensual, if it's from a place where both parties are respectful to each other and safe, it's all good. But if, for example, you need protection because unfortunately that's part of the territory with sex work, that sometimes you could be in violent situations, call upon her. Yes, you could call upon her for the protection of loved ones, even if they might not like her, even if they might not work with her. You could still call upon protection with her. All right? If there's any videos y'all want me to do, please let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I'm happy to do this. This is a little bit about Black Santa Muerte, when to call upon her. If you are going through any type of hexing or any curses and you need a reversal, let's imagine this is the candle, right? And you should get a black candle or a Black Santa Muerte candle. You go like this. You move it all around your body, ensuring that any negativity is on the candle now. You're placing it on the candle. And you just say prayers. Santísima, may you protect me. Santa Muerte, may you protect me. Black Santa Muerte, may you guide me. She's also very good for cord cutting. Anybody from the past you're still thinking about, anybody from the past haunting you, anybody from the past being a stalker or a lurker, oh yeah, she shut it down. Do you understand why death is so important and why the underworld and darkness is so important? Because we got things to do and we can't always live in attachments. We have to embrace the fact that in this life, there are cycles of death and rebirth. And when we embrace it, in all honesty, things move a lot quicker. And that's something that I learned with Santísima Muerte. You learn to move beyond the veil. You learn to go beyond fear. And to understand that fear is just a barrier. It's a blockage. And in many ways, it's a tool of control and oppression. All right? So this was a little bit about Black Santa Muerte, what she can do for you, petitioning to her, give her offerings, say prayers of protection, and keep it moving. I also recommend, if you have a really important job to do with her, have a clear glass of water for her, because water is a spiritual current. Water is a spiritual current and a conduit for spirits to come forward and to support us and help us. Give her offerings while she's doing the work. She's going to get the work done. She's not a spirit who doesn't provide results, or else she wouldn't be so popular and famous. All right? So that's a little bit about Santa Muerte, Niña Negra. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Again, she's very chill with offerings, so long as you're giving from a place that you are able to give. She don't care about how much you got in your pocket. She just cares about, can you give? And it's as simple as, if you're making yourself a coffee in the morning, give her a cup of coffee. You like to eat chips, give her chips. You like candy, give her candy, all right? This is about building a relationship with them. This isn't about, oh, I'm just going to go to you every time I need jobs. This is about I'm building a relationship with you and a friendship with you. And in a lot of ways, these are mentors, y'all. These are guides, meaning that there are teachers that they're guiding us. All right. So that's a little bit about Black Santa Muerte. Stay beautiful, stay abundant, stay great, y'all. If you have any questions about working with Miss Santissima, let me know in the comments below. And I know I keep saying I'm going to end this, but Spirit just be making me say things. Yes, Black Santa Muerte prefers to be alone. That doesn't mean she can't do jobs always alone. Meaning that, yes, like, you know, you could have Santa Muerte alone. If you don't have space, she's not going to get mad. And also, let's break down the misconception that you cannot work with two spirits at the same time. Santa Muerte's chill. I had a client who needs to do some legal stuff. And I told him, yo, call upon Santa Muerte and Saint Michael, Archangel Michael, because they're both your guides and they're both there for you. And he petitioned both at the same time. So you can do things like that, y'all. Don't get too restricted. She's not as possessive and jealous as y'all think she is. Calm down, all right? Calm down, relax, chill. Stay beautiful, stay abundant, stay great. I love you, Niña Negra. I love you, Santa Muerte. Later, y'all.